Morning or good evening, wherever you're at in the U.S. and around the world. This is Pete Caliendo, your host of Guess What? Baseball Outside the Box. We've got another great episode for you, and we're going to get started right away. Before we do, don't forget, check us out on Spotify. If you like audio, Peter Caliendo. You can go YouTube, Peter Caliendo, go Spotify, Baseball Outside the Box. And, everybody asks you this, always try to subscribe so you can get information on new shows right away. It'll send you a link, and that way you don't miss any shows. You don't have to listen to all of them, but you might want to pick and choose some of them. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. And guess what? We're in over now 120 countries. Hope to get to 170. There's about 170, maybe more baseball countries around the world. Right now, we've got a great baseball not only country, but person I've known for a long time. I mean, he's done an incredible job in Guatemala baseball, and he is the president, co-founder of the Winter League in Guatemala. Also in MPA, everybody knows Tom House, a 40-year friend of mine, who just happened to move to South Carolina, which I got to get a hold of so I can go have some coffee with him. He came from California, but Juan Berger is the only Latin American. That could have changed, but we'll check with Juan in a minute. He's the only certified coach MPA, and he's also covers all of Latin America for MPA. So he's the director of Latin America. Incredible. He's just done an incredible job. Not to mention his social project to expand baseball in Guatemala and grow the league under Tom House protocols, along with the founder of one of the clubs that plays in the professional league, Club Lobos. He established that in 2018. I mean, he's done a great job there, man. And he spent a lot of time, over a year, studying and becoming a certified coach with MPA, National Pitching Association, Tom House. So let's not even waste any time. I want to talk about the league, all the progress, some of the great things they're doing. Other countries can learn from this, and also Latin America. It sounds like might be taking on some of the projects that Juan's doing, and they are doing that. So we'll ask him about that. So Juan, man, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey Pete, thanks for having me. Everything good here in Guatemala.
Hey, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, so I'm going to have to make another trip because it was an awesome place. I had so much fun, and the coaches were great, and we just had a great time and great country. Great coffee, by the way, right? So I just had my espresso now. Um,
Really
the
good
Italians,
coffee, world class coffee.
the Italians have great coffee, but you know where that coffee comes from. The Italians are roasters. They're professional roasters, and they get the coffee from Latin America, Guatemala, Colombia, and some of the other countries. So it's
Yeah,
but I bring that up because I'm a coffee lover, obviously. So how you been, man? Everything good?
everything good. Thanks for having me again here. I think I was with you in 2018 or 2019, a long time
Yeah,
ago,
it's
when
been a
this was
while.
just
What's
getting
wrong?
started.
What's wrong with me, man? I wait 20, 19, 20, almost 7 years, whatever it is, to have you back on. That's crazy. How did I fail that?
No, we had the chance to chit chat in the ABCA convention that time. We have been
Yeah.
in touch. I would love to have you back in Guatemala. The doors are open here. It would be
Well,
really, really nice to have you back. I think when
well,
you came through David, right? Molina,
yes, yeah, with David
good
Molina.
friend of
Yeah,
mine. Good
who
friend of
also
mine.
moved to the U.S.
Yes, he's coming back though. He's coming back.
Oh, nice. Hey, listen,
Hopefully.
so much is happening, and I want to try to give Guatemala baseball a lot of exposure here, as I do with a lot of countries, because I think countries can learn from each other, not just Latin American countries, but countries all over the world, and helping in two ways: to develop the grassroots level, which is extremely important, for to develop a sport in every country and continue that development, but also at the higher level, like you've done with the Guatemala Winter League. So let's start off with this. I want to start off with the club because I think for you a lot of things started with the club, right? The Lobos when you established in 2018. Talk a little bit about Guatemala baseball. Give us a little history update because it's been a while, and then a little bit about the club on how it's grown, and it's really, I mean, you've really done a great job. It sounds like from the grassroots.
Yeah, well, yeah, the baseball club, the Lobos, we established in 2018, like you said. And, we started with the bigger team, with the older team for the big league, and then 2 years later we go with the peewees, with the kids, and we start working our way to the middle from both ends until now we have baseball teams pretty much in at every level played in the city. Guatemala, it's baseball, it's different culture wise. The amount of baseball that is played, the amount of baseball fields are really reduced comparing into with other countries like the States or Nicaragua, something in Central America, Panama, which have greater baseball culture, and everything it's worked through independent baseball academies, and there's not like a system like high school baseball, college baseball in Guatemala that does not exist. So everything goes through independent baseball academies, and then once you get to under 18, the baseball federation takes care of the tournament and the national team processes. So since the Lobos started, that has been our project that we use to try new things, to try new methods, to implement all these NPA protocols. For example, that's where I go and put them into practice with kids and young athletes. And since it's private, it's kind of like you can dictate how things are going to be done, how things even with the parents, right? Which in little league, it's that's the main um, source of conflict, I would say,
Yeah.
with youngsters. So even how we educate parents, how we make them a part of the community, how try to explain their role in the triangle: athlete, coach, parent, and create this culture, right, through baseball, through the club. But more than that, this year we are aiming in identity, right? Identity with the pack, the wolf pack, and trying to get a social place where people find wellness. Wellness goes beyond the word itself. It's feeling good, having a good conversation, being in a safe place, surrounded with people with the you know sharing common things, sharing baseball in this matter. But the baseball club have been, at the beginning was kind of difficult until um, I used parents and gave them the control of the club, and make them experience a little bit. This was like 2 3 years. I just came back with the little league, but then they had the experience to what it takes to keep the boat floating, right? And what it takes to try to communicate with everybody. So I think that was a really nice exercise on when the parents were also taking care of sports things and logistics activities, games. And I think we have been finding the balance on how involved you want the parents. um, and of course it's athletes have windows of trainability. So whatever you're doing with guys from 8 to 13 years old is not the same what you're doing with 14 to 18, 19 years old, and you go on, right? So the idea is to assess every athlete with have fun. First of all, with kids is really important them to have fun, and sometimes it's hard when you play a sport of failure, right? So
Oh yeah.
work all that. That's the fun part with kids, I guess. How you help them to um, use that failure or the outcome. Don't focus on the outcome, focus on the process, and all these kind of things that go building your players and the future of the sport here. So I think that the baseball club have been really consistent throughout the years. The kids, you can come in, you have a community, and then we have all the levels for your kids, so we can grab it in peewees and take them all the way up to professional. and in the process, if there's a chance to go to high school, to go to college, to go to indie ball or whatever it is, of course, we help them to find their pathway, right, through baseball.
Now, you listen. You brought up a key word there, because I think if you look around the world, some of the programs that have been successful, exactly what you said, they involve all three areas when it comes to development, involvement, and the key is the parents. Because if you've got the parents involved and understanding everything, then the communication is much clearer. So you got the parents, the player, and the coach, and sometimes the parent can also be the coach, obviously, of your program. So you've done a great job there. Now, that same model, have you then, because you have three other clubs, have they now transferred that model into the other clubs, and you're seeing the game grow a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other baseball enthusiasts in the city, which they are, doing it on with their beliefs and whatever they think is right for their baseball clubs. So we are we can replicate this model. We haven't done it. We still use the Lobos for the youth. The other
Mm-hmm.
clubs are more for the league and thought for expansion outside the city. Which baseball goes down in level and development outside the city. Um, so we have been now this year thinking a little bit more on how to implement what we have learned over the years with the Lobos, with the other baseball clubs or the other teams, whatever brings identity to a region, and replicate it outside the city and give this kind of access to information and training to guys that they don't.
Sure.
There's no other way they could access this kind of information, which really good the work Coach House has been doing since his whole life, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Um,
And you know what's unique about that is, sometimes, you do your best, right? And try to show other clubs, hey, here's a model. This could be good, and learn from it. And sometimes they just have to, unfortunately, see the success, and then later on, I always tell people, I say, look at successful programs. Why try to reinvent the wheel, right? I mean, if you see a
exactly.
successful program, a successful country doing something right, that can work in your country. You can modify it for your country. There's so many things you can do, but why stress yourself out with trying to invent the wheel again, which makes it more difficult. Hey, quite important thing you also mentioned. I think this is a critical one. The MPA. Obviously, I've known Tom for a long time, and I don't know the protocols up to date, but a lot of the older protocols I knew, a lot of things you guys are doing. I'd love to hear this, and I think our audience would like to hear it too. In the club, you have certain MPA protocols. What are just to mention a few that kind of give us an idea that kind of standardizes everything for your development? What are some of those protocols?
Exactly. So, like I mentioned earlier, everything starts with knowing the windows of trainability of your athletes and the
Mhm.
age that they have. But basically, what we establish is, these protocols are exercises divided by blocks. So the first block is core temperature elevation. Second block is arm current recovery. Third block is upper body flexibility. Those three blocks, for example, those are my warm up in the baseball club. And these are, cross specific training, really good for rotational athletes, health first approach, let the kids stay healthy. And then, of course, it's about details. I truly believe baseball, it's about details, taking care of details and keep getting better every day. But um, I believe once, the little kids are faster learners. So uh, once you set the nervous system and you set the biomechanics, then in the next step, which is muscle, strength, you put that on top of that. And in during the whole time, you work in tactics and strategy and mental emotional management. And those pretty much are the protocols. Um, is just taking care of on every single aspect of the athlete. And Coach House always says you are your best coach. So we try to provide the information to the athlete so he can take care of his well-being, and that's pretty much it. Provide them with the knowledge on how to take care of themselves, how to recover, which is huge.
Sure.
Which thing you should be doing to get better, but let them know. No, the problem here in Guatemala is that there's a lot of empiric and YouTube coaches.
Yeah.
I call it, that this looks cool. I put video, throw it up in social media, and then when you think about it, it's like, what are you doing with this kid?
Right.
And I mean, even Coach House, it was funny. A few weeks ago, I was with him in Atlanta, and he's like, I don't know how many athletes I messed up in the
Sure. We all
while I
did.
was learning. And a lot of
Absolutely.
coaches, nobody do it on purpose.
No, no.
But a lot of the things that I've noticed that have an impact is having this routine. And the kids know you just pitch, you need to go do your 20-minute aerobic conditioning, arm care, post exam to see your fatigue levels, and then block 2 again, arm care and recovery. So I guess these good habits that you put in the kids are a part of the protocols, and get them knowledge and information that you can back up. um,
Awesome.
and it's just being consistent with it every
Yeah.
single day, pretty much.
Awesome. I know I love that part because I think for young kids, or any player, you want to be healthy, you want to be fundamentally sound, you want to be able to play the game well. The other part of this I wanted to ask you was as far as, because you mentioned fun a few times, right? And a lot of times, people use the term fun. You got to have fun, you got to have fun, you got to have fun. Then I watch somebody in practice or watch somebody in games, and it ain't fun. It's stressful for the kids because they're just putting too much stress on the young kid. I get it, the discipline, the development. I understand all that, but what do you when you say fun? I want to hear your term of fun. What are you telling your parents? And again, I know it's with your club right now because that's where the development is. What are you telling your parents that are coaching or your parents it, to incorporate that fun so they're learning faster or they're enjoying the game on top of what you're doing development wise? Because you got to do both, obviously.
Yeah. That's a really thin line, because if you go with you like your kid more when he's doing well, right?
Yeah, of
He's
course.
still your kid. But um I think it's a combination on how you focus the attention on the kid, on process and not outcome. uh
Mm-hmm.
so pretty much that's where I go in my baseball club. I love to win, everybody does. But in the youngsters, I really don't promote winning, and winning at every cost is not healthy for anyone.
Right.
um then the atmosphere we do create, and the parents are a big part of it. The atmosphere for the kid, you cannot motivate a person, a human, but you can create an environment where he feels motivated.
Sure.
So it's a personal decision, but that environment is the ones that it's built through your parents, your coaching staff. I don't have many parent coaches. They're coaches and they're parents. I don't have many parent coaches.
Gotcha.
um so everybody knows their role, and
Good.
everybody, we go to have fun. What I mean by fun, it's, first of all, we're playing baseball, and these guys, it's how you rewrite everything in a positive sentence for the kid to have, to absorb it, even if things are not going right, or you're getting, knocked out in the game. I started the team, and probably I mentioned this the first time, teaching guys on how to put the glove. Oh no, I'm righty, so they put the glove in the right hand, and I'm like,
Good.
no, no.
Yeah.
So all these kind of things, um, and then enjoying. I actually believe our coaching staff enjoys what they're doing, and you create relationship with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the you know and then when the parents see their kid loving your coach so much and liking your coach so much and being like, hey, no, yeah, Coach Berger says, Coach Berger, so, or Coach Kamakaro says this. So as a parent, you know the atmosphere where your kid is. um, it's fun, right? He feels comfortable with it. But I think putting kids competing in anything is pretty much fun for them.
Yeah.
Like, it's whatever you do, if you make it a competition, healthy competition, of course, that's gonna be fun. They're gonna be
Yeah.
cheering, they're gonna be trying to win, they're gonna push each other. Simple as whatever you decide to do: bunt contest, home run contest,
Yeah.
running contest, aiming contest, whatever it is. I think having the fun part in the practice, like the kid, let your kid out a little bit with them. And I don't like to be the guy that is like, no, uh don't talk when you're shagging. It's like, yeah, okay, make groups of three. I don't want 20 guys in center field talking, but make group of three, group of four, have fun, talk, joke, joke around. That's pretty much what I remember when I was a kid. I was excited about practice because of my friends. You know,
Absolutely.
so the atmosphere builds itself, and I think it's just a matter of pay attention, observe, and try to make moves so community gets more involved, and winning a game becomes secondary.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me tell you, you hit two areas. I think that's why I like to do the show, because I think more and more coaches need to really understand this. More leagues, more clubs around the world, people that run programs, they need to understand this part. Interesting, like you said. I mean, all you got to do is ask kids. I remember when I was a kid too. All you got to do is ask kids, "What's fun about baseball?" Wow, what's fun about baseball is going out and playing the game and just enjoying it. But also, what's fun is individually being a little successful, right? Because you're going to fail. I mean, that's part of it. But if I've got a player who struck out four times, that's not fun. But if he got a hit on one of those times, he's going to forget the strikeouts, right?
Exactly.
So the development you're doing is creating that atmosphere, that culture, that all that. And part of that, I'm gonna get to the coaches in a minute, and then I'm gonna talk about the league. Um, Part of that, I want to ask you this part, because this could be a whole show, but a couple tips, that you use with MPA and your program, is what we just talked about, the failure aspect. Developing fundamental skills can help overcome that, because you'll fail less times if you've got pretty good skills. Um, but when they do fail and you see that, and they're not handling it really good, what are some of the tips you give your coaches, and also, to kind of help your players out? Because we don't as a 10, 12, 14-year-old, I don't understand how to deal with that. It's a lot more failure than most sports.
Yeah, and that's really noticeable when you get a 13, 14-year-old kid starting in baseball, and they're
Hmm.
facing guys that have been playing 5, 6, 7 years,
Yes.
and they throw a curveball, and they're like,
Yeah.
um, I that's a big thing. We do. Let me show you.
Sure. Go ahead. No
We
problem.
do a lot of things, little things like this is the hat, but I don't know if you can see that little
Yeah, I see
wolf
the
in there. The
pin.
pin.
Sure.
Yeah, so we give baseball cards, we give prizes and these little pins, and sometimes uh, that guy that struck out 4 times showed up 2 hours before the game,
Hmm.
and he's so excited about the game, and he struck out 4 times. How he feels, right?
Right.
Um, so we give punctuality prize. Who came first to the baseball field, and it's him.
Yeah.
Or
Find the
that same
positive.
guy.
Yeah.
What you always have something positive to focus on.
Yeah.
So let them forget the outcome and try to do something to affect the process. Like, so, for example, um, why don't you time the pitcher? Right? It's obvious you don't play. at his level. So most likely he's gonna throw you a lot of fastballs, right? He's gonna
Mhm.
just go boom, boom, boom. So time the pitcher, get the bottom plane, and make contact. And then it's just and here's the tip that you asked for. Your mindset can be your best ally or your worst enemy. And mindset is free. So usually baseball, Coach House says this: baseball is a failure sport uh, in a misunderstood environment coached by negative people. I don't know if that's
Yes.
the right order, right? Uh, I think coached by negative people in an it something like that. But then when you go deeper on why he mentions that, and that's a big thing is baseball is coached by negative people, and you affect a kid struggling by putting negative income of information in his brain. He said, "Don't throw balls." Oh, come on, coach. I mean, I know. I'm not trying to throw balls, but
Right.
a lot of coaches are gonna be, "Hey, come on, man, throw strikes." That it's different to say, "Hey, come on, Justin, you can do it. Make
Yes.
the next pitch." So
Yeah.
it's just how you rephrase it can be a lot less stressful for the kids. And sometimes you gotta use your baseball IQ against the kids and say, "Hey, you have one." I had a rookie guy, startup, but I put him in the baseball machine, in the hitting machine, just straight fastball, hard. Because
Mm.
I know just by the way you stand up, people knows if you play or you don't play.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing? But this kid learned how to hit fastballs, right? He comes up to bat and I say, I don't care where the pitch comes. I want you to make three swings straight. I don't care. And funny thing is, first swing is hit by pitch and he's wrong, right? Because
Yeah.
first pitch he get and he's wrong is a strike, and he
Sure.
goes like, "Oh, now he's hit." And I said, "I asked you for three, you have given me one. Give me two more." So next pitch, fastball down the middle, he's on time, base hit,
Wow.
month. The month is a success now,
Yes. Yes.
because he already had a base hit in game,
Yep.
but kind of like you tip them to try to make the odds on their favor, right? But at the end of the day is try to say positive things, or there's always a positive.
Yeah.
And with kids, if you just go to the positive, don't put attention to the negative, and then just see what could we do better. Okay, run in and out the field, running, getting in and out, running in less than 10 seconds. We can do better on that, right?
Hmm.
Those are the kind of feedback they get. I don't care if you miss a ground ball. MLB players miss ground balls,
Sure.
you know, but I do care if you show emotions to the umpire, because that's baseball courtesy, ethics, the way you behave. So that's my way to see things, my way to coach. I do love kids, and I think it's mutual. So we do have fun. We
Yeah.
always have fun, and that was hard to step away a little bit from the youngsters, and now that I'm coming back, 1 month ago, I came back and start implementing new things that I learned over this period that I missed the young kids. Um, and then you see the kids that you were putting the glove in the right hand now playing catch like it's nothing, like it should be, right? But
Yeah.
when you get a new kid, it's kind of like, hey, the glove, how you put the glove, how. So now it's kind of like they become your kids. Um, their success is that's when a little thing, and the god of baseball is really fair with the people that put effort. It's
Yes.
really hard, you know good things happen to people that is going to practice, even if you go to practice and then you get jam and you get a Texas hit, you get an infield hit, and then I truly believe that this sport is it's the biggest, the best way to form young the young generations, because it's hard. This sport is really hard to play and to deal with. And I think when parents understand that, and it's okay, it's a under 10 age baseball game, it doesn't matter, it's a plastic trophy, you know. But how your kid, you like pay attention on how your kid treats his opponent, treats his teammates. That's gonna tell you a lot about your kid. How he reacts to an error, how he reacts when he's having success,
Mm-hmm.
and it will show you a lot of things that, as an adult or as a parent, you gotta straighten if you want your kid to be a good a man of good, you know. So I feel we focus more on that side than winning games.
Well, that's great. That's why again you're becoming successful in growing the game. You know, some of the things we talk, one of the important things we talk about on the show a lot, that's always brought up, we constantly want to emphasize it. When I look around the world and I see a common denominator with countries who are developing their sport, that may be small countries, right, that don't have a lot of players, but they develop their sport really well and they're seeing it grow, grow, grow. One of the There's two common denominators that I figured out. One is coaches' education. Bottom line, you mentioned that if you don't, and Guatemala, I have to say, because to everybody that's listening, Guatemala is very lucky to have you there, simply because your passion, your education, your love for the game, and understanding kids, because understanding young kids and understanding older players, it's a little different as they get a little older. So you have to kind of know that, and you have to be a psychologist. Obviously, every coach needs to be a psychologist because it's a mental game, and like you said, we fail a lot. So you got to know how to help young kids. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. And we always talk about coaches. They are able to attract good coaches, attract players to the sport, right? Get
Mhm,
them to come play. Maybe go to the schools or whatever the program is, trying to get them. I know it's not easy because we're all competing against soccer worldwide, even in the
mhm.
US, right? I mean, it's because soccer is a big sport. I mean, it's the biggest sport in the world. So we have to be realistic that we're going to compete against them. We have to figure out how can we get them to play baseball and not another sport? And obviously, we want young kids to be multi-sport athletes too. Um,
Exactly.
but, but on the coaching aspect, the other part coaches do real well is they keep them in the game longer, right? You want them long term.
Yeah.
So tell me, um, your club obviously doing a very good job. What's needed? I'm guessing more coaches' education is needed in Guatemala to spread that word out. What else is needed in Guatemala what do you, to help grow the game? I know coaching helps grow the game. I'm convinced. I've seen it all over the world. But what else do you think other than coaching? Is
So that's a really good question, Pete. I've been working in this like 7, 8 years now,
a long time?
and
Yeah,
every year you get to learn something new, find new ideas, new people. We have tried multiple things,
sure.
but coaches education is one. I So Guatemalan baseball outside the city is really, really, really
Difficult.
poor,
Oh yes,
underdeveloped,
right.
underdeveloped in every single aspect,
Yeah,
and nobody cares. You know, the federation has a system or whatever associations, but there's nothing set. So um, during the years, actually this year we are starting a project to expand outside the city
oh,
and
good.
bring, like I said, bring this information and protocols and this NPA system to.
Mm-hmm.
And the first step is, of course, um, if it's possible to execute it, whatever we are trying to. But first, you said it is coaches, right? So we
Sure.
are training coaches under protocols and PA protocols and giving them follow up. But the main thing I think in Guatemala, we just need a shot. We just need people to give baseball a shot. Um, you know a little bit of what we have been doing. So the levels that we have talked about, the levels, it gives us experience on growing the generations, right? Working with kids, what motivates them, whatever, parents. But then if you do that outside the city, that's a whole different, it's going state by state. It's like a different country, right?
Ah,
um
okay. Makes
so
sense.
but the community here, um and of course the private companies, the private sector of the country, um actually bet on baseball. That's pretty much what I would say we need. We have covered, we have developed by areas. You see, we have the winter league, and that has a function. We have my expertise and my training with Coach House, and now being director for them, and having the possibility to start um, training Latin American coaches to spread good protocols. Because you better than me know that majority of the countries in the world are undeveloped in baseball,
Sure.
and there's a lot of countries in the same or worst position than Guatemala. And I do believe we are creating a system that is going to be replicable, that is going to be possible to replicate in some other country with a few adjustments, culture wise, and or laws or whatever it is.
Hmm.
But um, more involvement, and now kind of like this year, it's everything falling into place on how the preparation works, and the support of all the National Pitching Association and Dome House Sports and the baseball club, how the 6 seasons of the Winter League we have, and we televise with, so a lot of little works on different areas are aligning everything to finally merge and do something social. Not
Nice.
by you can play because I can pay, because I live here, because I do
Right.
this, which is an eternal competition, and we pull each other down in between us in the city, but outside the city nobody's doing it. So I think it's territory nobody has explored, um, and that will be easier. You know, I did some of my training in Puerto Rico a lot, like 3 years. It's a baseball country, right?
Sure.
And it's totally different on how things work in a baseball country with is their culture, and
Yeah.
how the problems are different over there than in Guatemala. You know, but I would pick Guatemala because then you can set the standards because nobody else is doing it. But if
Right.
you go to Puerto Rico, it's like how many academies are in there? In
Hmm.
Dominican Republic, how many academies? In the States, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
So at the same time, when you have a proven system, which is science applied to the human body, uh, well executed in different areas, why not? Right? Why not? Why couldn't these guys become elite athletes or really good baseball players, get into the professional system or get into college, get into the next level, and then have the chance to locally test your level, because you know in the winter league we bring a lot of internationals. So
Hmm.
it's a good opportunity to test levels in nationals, youngsters, mainly young athletes, 18, 17, 19 years old, have the chance to face early 20s guys trying to get to indie ball or coming from indie ball or staying in shape, whatever the case it is. And then it's it's like a measure for them. Kind of like, oh, I hit this guy throwing 92. I can, right? Nobody I didn't know because nobody throw 92 in Guatemala. But
Yeah.
hey, I got my timing right. So I just think that one of the most important things is support, of course, but every dream has a cost, you know. Every dream needs money. Every good action you want to do needs money. Every business needs money. And but it's, I don't think money is what we need. We need involvement. The other comes uh, by doing things right, right? But involvement of community, involvement of the private sector, and I think Guatemala would start uh, s- like putting seeds in really fertile ground and just being consistent. No matter of 6 years, then you have a generation that you built.
Oh, but you know what, man, that's a great point because that's it sounds like, and let's get into this. We'll finish it off with this part is important. I wanted to start with the development because I love the development aspect. I think a lot of countries need to understand that better and better. But that's why you started the Winter League, not
Yeah.
only to give kids a goal, but to do other things to promote the game, to get it on television, to whatever, to involve media, involve fans, all that kind of stuff. So tell us about that because that's not easy to start a winter league in Guatemala, bring in foreign players. You got to house them, obviously. Yeah, but it sounds a lot like a lot of fun and a lot of development for both the Guatemalan players and also the foreign players. So tell us about the league.
So the league has been evolving year with year. That's no doubt. I consider we are considered the professional league. We are developmental league. Hopefully one day we're professional, but to be considered professional, there's a lot of things that we don't do. But
Sure.
we do things so professionally that we look professional, right? We
Nice.
televise, we radio, we good social media, good photographer,
Promotes the
streaming
game.
anytime.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have our own baseballs. Have here one baseball.
Nice.
So when you come, you have the league baseball with the signature. It's kind of like gives identity. Um, so the
Is Juan Berger's name on that ball as commissioner?
I don't have my name. That's my
No.
signature, though.
Yeah, there you go. There you got your signature. That's all I need. I just want to see the
Yeah, I
signature. That's
don't need
better.
my name in it. I don't need my name in it. But that is my signature. I always joke when I give one of these away. I say I would sign it for you, but it's already there. Don't worry. I don't need
That's
to
right. You don't
sign
have to
it.
sign anymore.
Nah,
Awesome.
but the experience itself, and you mentioned something interesting. I At some point I was focusing on local development only and paying the foreign. Then we don't pay the foreign, we pay the locals, and then it's kind of like no, we invest in something that is good for whatever. But now we have been bringing, um, you know, this really good baseball is it's the same in every country, but so different in every country, right? It's the same
Sure.
sport, but it's
Sure.
so different how you play it. Um, but then you can have guys that don't even speak the same language playing baseball, and they know where to throw, where to go,
Absolutely.
what to do. It's so it's like a language, baseball language. And this year and last year, I've been more with the league, focused on the quality of the coaching staff that we bring with the teams. Um, so we bring guys from independent leagues or coaches, well-known coaches, or guys that recruit. Um, good, made a really good friend. I think you know him, Jeff Freeborn. Really, really nice guy. He was with me in the
Yeah,
big league last year.
just
You
got
know,
off on his podcast. I was on his show
awesome,
yesterday. Yes.
nice. Um, so then you get guys from indie ball or coaches that are associated with international baseball or have opportunities, and in this industry in baseball, you get to know, like, just look how long of a friendship you and me have been built over the years because of baseball, you know and
Absolutely.
I believe
Absolutely.
a lot of people can help you. um, and so having those kind of coaches here, it's a big showcase for US players as well. So it's not just the thing of coming to Guatemala and have the
Hmm.
experience and enjoy the culture, get to know, play baseball, when probably back home is snowing. December, November, we're playing in perfect weather, and half of the states is covered in snow. Um, and then But on top of that, you get at bats, you get things, and then you can get a shot. You can. We had guys sign into a Pioneer League, Frontier League after the big league. Um, so they did found the league as a stepping stone to what's next.
Hmm.
And I have had guys from Japan here, Europe, haven't had an African, um, but of course all America, South and Central and Canada, Mexico. We have had a lot of different nationalities in
Very nice.
participating in the big league, and I think everybody has enjoyed it, and we go getting better year by year. And we try to, along with the league, then you understand that umpires are so important. And how do we help umpires now, right? How do we help for them to have a normal strike zone and don't be so right? But our baseball level is you get what you are, man. It's not that I have a great baseball level and my umpires they terrible. No, they're terrible because the level's terrible. You know, you cannot have. That's how it is. And that I understand that as a part of development. So, for example, for the league this year, I'm trying to implement the ABS system for balls and strikes, but it's set the the computer is gonna tell us if it's a ball or a strike, not you. You're gonna be there looking at what is a ball and what is a strike so you get better. That's one of the ideas, for
Yeah,
example.
you'll learn.
You get the chance
Hmm.
to get to see the pitches and understand what a high strike is, because that doesn't exist here. Um, and then
Sure.
where the corners ends, because they become having protagonism, you know? The best umpire is the one you don't even notice. That's the best one. That you
Right.
don't even notice the umpire's there because he's so equal and consistent. And he's not being perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent and equal and try to keep fair the rules for both teams. And for example, that's a thing that I'm paying attention this year. And I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know if there's other winter league that um, bases their balls and strikes completely in technology in the world.
Yeah, you might be the first one. Even Major League Baseball is, they're doing a two challenges per game
Yeah,
on the ABS. So they can, yeah, they only get two challenges the whole game.
yeah,
So
no,
they're not doing every pitch. You're going to do every pitch. That computer is going to call balls and strikes.
yes,
That's a
yes,
great point. That'll help your umpires get better.
exactly. They get better, and then I have it's fair. It's because they do become really um, the main actor of the baseball games here sometimes. So um, those are a lot of the feedback I get from the international is like the umpires suck. And I'm like, yeah, we cannot do much about it, but we can, And so this is a proposal I'll bring this year. Um, a lot of baby steps through the years. More people get involved. The Baseball Federation understanding that we're together in this development stuff, and it's not just like, yeah, me as public, you as private, and we go separate ways.
Yeah,
Uh, you
working
know,
together.
let's do it together, and it has been really fun to see how over the past of the years, the people that once told me crazy, now they're next to me helping out because now they believe. It's six.
Yeah,
It's not easy. People don't understand how hard that is to build a winter league and maintain it for 6 seasons. That's
yeah.
like
You're going on your seventh
this
year.
is our seventh season, yes, and there's a lot of
Right.
progress. This ABAM association that had this tournament in Venezuela, they're bringing 3 representatives here to evaluate our league if we can compete against them with our champion. We
Nice.
have another invitation for the Pan American League in Dominican. So people is taking, turning their head in what's going on in Guatemala, and then you check it out, and it's like, oh, at least it looks organized. You know what I mean? And then
You know, the other thing that it's helping, and I'm sure you know this, because most countries, you take Europe. Europe is playing more tournaments in different countries, and with your league, young kids are when they see that, because young kids are always looking, they want to have fun, they want to play, but eventually at a certain point, they also want to advance to something, more professional, let's call it.
Yeah.
Now you have a league for these kids to play in, to strive for the best league in that country. I mean, that's a big goal for young kids. That keeps them in the game longer when they see a league like that.
Yes, and you know what? I tell you, we're development because currently, you know, um, all these famous league, pay to play, right? You pay to play, you pay to play, you pay to play. So this is a thing in the States, um, and other parts of the world. But for us, it's like, and when I say I don't consider myself professional, I mean ourselves, the league. When I say myself, is the league. Um, I don't consider our league professional because we are developing, and some of the players cover parts of their cost of being here.
Sure.
But
Yeah, they're paying their way there.
they,
Sure, they have.
exactly. So it's not, you're not paying to play. You're paying a small portion. We help you. For example, this year it's 2.5 months season, and you can come the 2.5 months
So
from
October to December,
November to January, in the same
November to
system.
January,
In the same system every single other winter league plays, because if we want to compete with them, I guess we gotta be playing at the same time and finishing around the same time.
same time. How many foreign players?
I usually have
How many players from other roughly?
between, for this year, I think we're gonna have 52 players, around 50 players,
In the league?
50 international players.
50 international players. Wow. And how many Guatemala players?
Two-thirds of that, so 100, between 80 and 100. And I divided it
Wow,
so.
that's outstanding.
So, for example, when you have the internationals always available to play at any time, but you have the older guys that are professionals and play hobby because it's a hobby for the love of the game. They
Sure.
finish work at 5, right? They play the 7 p.m. games.
Right.
Some days we throw games at 10 a.m. because the guys that are in high school are in vacation, and between them, so younger guys and the internationals, you give more playing time to players. So
Mm,
we expand the roster a little bit on internationals because you increase the level, of course, and you make sure they're in the field because they live at the field or really close from the field. And then that you have arms. Arms is the thing. If you want to play a lot of games, you need arms. So, and
so how many games we talking about? How many
five
games we
games a
talking about
week.
during that time?
5 games a week.
Wow, that's fantastic.
5 games a week. So you get 1 or 2 day rest. Um, and then sometimes you play 1 or 2 games in the morning, three at night. It goes. You always play Saturday, Sunday, and then you play for sure one in the morning and two more at night. So it's really consistent. And then you switch team. We try to keep them busy, play a lot of baseball. Of course, that elevates all the cost of everything, right? But that's why
Sure.
now it's kind of like, and I'm lucky. Like talking with friends that runs professional teams, they use 8 to 12 boxes of baseballs a game, right?
Yeah.
I use 8 baseballs a game, 8. But I pay
Game.
4 guys around surrounding the stadium to get the foul balls back.
Above.
Bring them
Yeah.
back. It's cheaper to pay them than to
That's
use
great.
25, 30 baseballs. And then the community surrounding,
Absolutely.
it actually, you give them a job, right? By Christmas. So
Yeah. And let me ask you two more things. But because I think it'll help. One, obviously, what's cool about this too, from the development standpoint, I've seen this a lot of places too. is when you're mixing the foreign players with the local players, those local players become better players just by practicing or playing with the other players, right? They reach
100%.
another level. So
100%.
that's really great to see. That helps the local players. Have some of your local? Let me ask you, some of the local players from the league in the last 7 years gone to college, or have they gone to play in the states? And
Yeah, you
have
have
had other opportunities.
yeah, you have different stories, different cases, but yes, we do have some players that Guatemalans that are currently in college, or players from, for example, I got
Good,
two guys from Honduras last year in the Lobos. They came to practice with me specifically, and then I placed them in the Lobos, and they play blah blah blah. Now they are in college. So
nice.
with yes, the thing is usually um, misinformation or not. I feel like getting a scholarship or getting a program to play college is kind of like finding a job, right? You're not gonna get a job sitting on your couch and waiting for someone to call you.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You
There's a
got
lot of players trying to go to college baseball.
exactly. You got to expose yourself. I had a good experience in Puerto Rico, help a lot of kids get, to play the next level or whatever. But Guatemalans, I believe that's one of the main things. Uh, the league at some point becomes a platform, right? We're still building it up. But this league, I mean, if you want me to go long term, where it's going to end, it's uh, 30 stadiums, 30 teams in Guatemala. So we use one stadium. Everybody there start expanding through the social project. Each stadium is a center, education center, baseball specialized school, whatever you want to call it. So you grow the game, the program, the players, the athletes throughout the year, and then in the winter becomes the professional league, and eventually you can get better experience for international players. The players that are coming here, they want to come back. It's cheap. I mean,
Sure.
it's cheap. We really, like, you get 2 meals a day, housing, uniforms, blah 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 blah, and you're paying $1,900 for 2.5 months. I mean, it's when you do the math, is you're paying $25 a day for food, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
baseball, and then
Love that.
the life in Guatemala is cheap. The culture in Guatemala is nice. I mean, the
Yeah,
locals
it's
end up
beautiful. Love it.
taking these guys to the volcano, to the lake, so they have fun.
Yep.
Eventually, when we spread
Yep.
outside, you can give the international a shot to play in the city, and then you move it to another city, to another team. Like, you make an exchange between teams, but since we direct the teams, uh, we can keep balance. We always try to keep balance. Baseball is more fun if it's a close game, right? Um, and then
Yes.
you can give them the experience to go get to know another part of the country, get to know another kind of place. So long term, we need international players, and I think the league, it soon could be a really interesting platform for a lot of international players. How many in the winter, mainly, how many actual baseball spots are out there to play in the winter, and how many players are trying to play winter ball. uh, and then
A lot.
there's no MLB, and so all these organized baseball players, AAA, Major League Baseball, are in the bigger winter leagues. So that's already out of the possibility to a lot. I'm talking about millions of players. Now, how many guys from college, graduates, seniors, they want to keep playing? They want to keep playing, but they don't have the the window, the opportunity. You know, fresh
Sure.
out of the college, I can guarantee you, a lot of players would love to take 6 more months to play different baseball because he didn't get drafted, or he didn't get an offer, or he didn't whatever. And usually, a lot of guys hang the cleats and keep their life. But I think there's a lot of um, good Guatemala can offer baseball wise now. Like, I think we're in the map now. and I think we can offer really good experience. And it's an in exchange, right? Because you come and help us and help developing the baseball in the country, but at the same time you are getting uh, opportunities and getting to know people and coaches and whatever it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's amazing what you guys have accomplished there. When you're talking about 50 international players that are coming in Guatemala and playing, um, two things to close off the show. I had a couple questions. Um, One, obviously, some people want to know, you know, how do they get involved as a player? You know, do they contact you? Is there a website? That's the one thing. The second thing is the question of when these players come, do you use them to help to promote the game at the younger levels around the country?
Yeah. So um, right now, with the first question, we are rebuilding webpage, and at some point, yeah, ligabig.gt. So from Guatemala
Okay,
is
Liga Big Judge.
ligabig.gt, www.ligabig.gt. That's the webpage. And then that's our social media.
Okay,
Is Liga Big is our social media, Liga Big. Um, and usually, if they reach out, our community manager like kind of like sort them, and then they get in contact, or we send a link and they get a form filled out, and then one representative of us
yeah,
contact
and
them.
you need information on the
Exactly.
players, and then you decide which players you want to pick. Yeah,
Usually
so it's a
we are
selection
really
process.
open with the players. We are really open on who's coming. We don't close doors. We don't guarantee playing time. We do, but we don't, right? At some you're gonna have playing time,
Right.
but of course it's baseball and the manager wanna win, and it's a competitive league. So right.
Absolutely. Yeah, they know that. It's competition.
And then the other question is, we haven't accomplished it. We haven't done it right. I tried it, and I have a few at least I have a few swings, right? I have two strikes. But the thing is,
You got to try, right?
every time, yes, and it's doable. It's really doable. It's more logistics. I underestimate the logistics that would take, and the
Sure.
organization that would take, and the amount of human resources I would need to be able to organize internationals and nationals and parents. And so it is doable. That's the goal. That's the idea, that they become a part of the society in training with the kids, or with this we call it like a vacation baseball camp, because everybody is on vacations. So we did it, we implement that. We had like 7 or 8 kids register, and the thing is, they come in the mornings in the baseball field and practice with the internationals,
Yeah,
right? and
that's
and some
great.
internationals, they don't feel like practicing that day, so they do get involved with helping the kids with the swings or whatever. So yes, the idea is, and my vision in this, when it's working, it's every person adding something to the development of the country, doesn't matter where they come from, through baseball. So I'm really happy on how things have been developing, and all these little obstacles that we have been facing throughout the years. But at the end of the day, um, we've met good people, locally and internationally, and I believe we are in a good. I'm really positive on the place where we at right now with development, let's say.
Well, it sounds like, let me tell you, man, that's a great way to end the show. It sounds like you're doing a fantastic job. You come a long ways, and having a league like that after 7 years is incredible. We'll get the information on our website, and I'm sure we're going to get some requests. We'll have the players contact you, any player that comes our way. But Juan, you've been fantastic, man. It's awesome. You and I will talk about some other things. I hope to be able to help you in some way. So again, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Pete. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. I really appreciate the invitation, and it's good to be here again with you. And made me realize
Yeah.
how far we have become, comparing the shows we had. So appreciate that.
Well, I got it. I couldn't believe how long it's been, but somehow, some way, it might be in the cards for Pete Caliendo to come to Guatemala again. I got to do it. I'm going to try my
The
best.
door is open. We
So,
just gotta plan it right.
looking forward to it, man. All right, you have a good weekend, my
You
friend.
too. Good to see you, Pete. Thank you.
All right, folks. Juan Berger, how about him? Has he done an incredible job? The Winter League in Guatemala, the development of his club. I mean, it's just incredible, and that's what you need to grow the game: the passion, the education, the knowledge, the having fun and getting people involved. That's a true sign of a leader when he can do all that. So we want to thank Juan Berger again for being on the show. This is Pete Caliendo, Baseball Outside the Box. Don't forget, check Spotify, Peter Caliendo. Go to Baseball Outside the Box, and also YouTube, Peter Caliendo. Join us if you want to hear some special guests. Send us an email, baseballoutsidethebox@gmail.com. All right, folks, don't forget, same thing. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a great day. All right, everybody.